So if you want to improve sales, the advice I would be able to give to my younger self, I really started this journey about 8 years ago. And back then, maybe even like 10 years ago, back then it wasn't really even sales, to be honest. It was like a cold approach that I did back then. So, it's about approaching girls on the street, going up to them, giving them a compliment, saying hi, and then, striking up a conversation from there. That has a lot of similarities with sales because it's a lot about communication and it's a lot about confidence. Now, sales itself for me is really a recent thing. So, like, I have about 1.5 years of experience in sales now. And even though I think there are a lot of similarities with cold approach, I also think there's a lot of differences with cold approach. So cold approach is really the goal of the entire thing is to strike up an interaction, an interpersonal interaction that forms the basis of like an interpersonal relationship in one form or another, right? And here is where the goal is fundamentally different from sales. Now, there's still a lot of carryover because in sales you still need to make the other person like you, and you still need to have good communication, and you still need to have a good back and forth. But fundamentally, the goal is about solving a problem for someone where he pays you for that, or she. So it's really a different goal. So what I found is the confidence transfers a little bit, but it doesn't transfer entirely. It's a different type of confidence sometimes. And in sales, the energy is much more serious, whereas in cold approach, oftentimes you need to be a little bit more lighthearted, and you have more like teasing and just like small talk, whereas in sales, we need to get more to the point. And in cold approach, that's also sometimes, you want to have like get to the point now and then as well. But still, the goal is oftentimes just to have fun. In sales, that's not the goal. The goal is to solve a problem for someone. So you need to be really much more serious. So that's why you really need to learn to ask good questions in sales, because that's going to allow them to think through their situation. Whereas in cold approach, that's not necessary. In cold approach, most of the time, you don't even want to be asking that much questions. You want to be doing most of the talking in cold approach. In sales, that's different. You want to be more the listener and the one that's asking the questions, because it's a different approach. But the thing is, like, a lot of like the mindset does carry over. So like putting effort into your communication, being a good speaker, being a good listener, your intonation, tonality, the basis of it is similar. It's like, if you're good at Kung Fu, that's going to give you a fighter mindset. That's also going to help you if you do kickboxing, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be a great kickboxer right off the bat. It's a different type of practice, just like sales is different from cold approach in that way. But really, these are a few of the differences I found. Where I want to take this with you, though, is not just go to analytical, but I want to give it to something for you as well. And so where I want to take this, either you're someone who has done cold approach and you're familiar with that, or you're familiar with sales, I'm not even sure where I'm going with this. It's just that, like, for me, I guess this is an important thing, both of them, because I think communication in general is important. And like sales for me, sure, it's like a tool to make money. It's an important tool to make money, but at the end of the day, it's also us sharpening our communication skills to be able to interact with people better, to be able to deal with those situations better and create better solutions, create better partnerships, create better relationships. That's the goal of communication. And so I think whether you do cold approach, whether you do sales, whether you do improv theater, any form of that, I think that's really something cool, something inspiring to me in a way. Well, it is inspiring to me. I say in a way, but it actually is inspiring to me, you know. And there's obviously pros and cons, but that's with everything. So I guess that's, I'm not sure where I'm taking this, but yeah. I think like communication, it can be like interesting